What kind of demo reel can help you to get your first job in animation? Everybody, this is Alessandro. Welcome back to my channel. A couple of weeks ago, I made a video where I was talking about the classic mistake that people do when they apply for a job, and it kind of destroy basically their chance, especially when they approach to the recruiter. And so one of my followers asked me this question, say, "Hey Alessandro, can you actually show us actual demo reel from people who then get a job, right?" And there's been a lot of video about this topic, what kind of demo reel, what you need to have, right? But people always tend to talk about it in general terms. So it's very difficult to visualize it exactly what that means. And so, you know what? I thought about it, it would be more interesting if I actually show demo reel from my student who studied with me and I help them to achieve this quality in order to get their first job once they finish the mentorship with me. And second, those are all demo reels from people who got a job during the crisis. So after the pandemic, when jobs started to fall down, right? A lot of people complained that there was no job anymore, it was impossible to find a job as a student, right? And I wanted to prove that, some of my students, if they have a very strong and good demo reel, they will still get a job. And I think it will be a lot more interesting, go one by one and see some of the shot together and discuss what is good about each shot so you can have a certain idea. Okay, so I want to start with this first shot with the Armin. Okay, this is a keyframe shot. Well, 50-50. Some of the reference, some of them obviously keyframe, right? And this is already a great thing to have on your shot because basically you're showing that you can mix some, reference here when you have something a little bit more grounded in the animation, right? With something more stylish and cartoony, where, for example, we have these very strong and appealing poses where the character has a very good line of action and very dynamic poses. So this is something not everybody can succeed. You can see the contrast from this pose here to this one here, where the line of action goes entirely into this point. See how dynamic this one looks? Someone who watched this one for the first time, he immediately knows that the person knows what it's doing in terms of posing. And I can stress this enough because posing is one of the strongest things that you need to succeed in animation. Look also at the contrast again from this one here, right, to this one where the line of action is here, right? And then we do this crushed zoom where we have this really nice posing with an extremely clear line of action, okay? So these already, you watch a shot like this, you immediately can feel how appealing this is. And then we have the second shot, which is the tennis one. I'll let you go watch first. A little bit more subtle, so there is a little bit more of acting in the body here. But then here you also have a very good mechanics when the character is actually striking. Okay, again, very good poses, very good line of action, right? And then very strong hit here with a follow up, all right? Again, here you can see that the animator knows how to use contrast, snappy timing, and make things look fluid and dynamic. This is a very simple parkour shot, right? I think it's always good to show in your demo reel that you're able to handle your character running and do few basic parkour stuff. Okay, I think it's always good. And the last one is this one where it's more about capoeira fighting style, which again is a more difficult level, right? And again, here he has nice poses, dynamic, kick, poses still looks very appealing. It's very fluid. The arcs are all very beautiful, right? Get into a nice pose before the next attack, right? You can see a little bit of drag here on the finger, right? And makes things a little bit more fluid, right? All those extra details, they are extremely interesting, right? And I felt also, yes, even doing this kind of jump here with the flip, with all this clean arc, again, is for someone who's experienced in animation knows that it's not that easy to achieve, right? And then I love how he ended in this pose, perfectly for the ending of the demo reel, all right? Let me take a look at another one here. This is Sean, one of my other students, right? You can see here, again, very strong poses, very snappy timing. Again, arc extremely clear, right? Timing has a good pacing. You can see how it's kind of slowing down here, then boom, boom, very quickly, right? As you can see also little details here about the smear, right? And then again, very nice pose here as well, okay? This is another great one. Two character with a little bit of interaction. Very fun to watch this one. Very dynamic. You see here again, you have a run, you have a very exaggerated jump with a flip, right? And then in the air the push of the ball, and then you have the other guys doing this very exaggerated jump. You see like a very appealing pose here with before the slam, and then a slam bending. You see how it looks very physical when your props are interacted properly with weight. You see how it's coming down with the weight and everything. A lot of people miss this kind of interaction, and they really emphasize how do you understand weight, right? And then again here we have another shot, more kind of dancing style in a way. But I think even here another great thing is that even though when the character is moving a lot, another things you want to keep in mind that there can be always little opportunity to have little moving hold and doing some fun poses like this one here, right? The anticipation here up in the air, right? This one here holding the pose while is twisting on the elbow, right? Really fun to watch. And then again this one, right? Very nice pose to end your shot. Again, another parkour shot, very well executed, very fluid, all right? It shows that you know how to push the mechanics, right? Very simple. I mean, this is normally the first shot that my students do, but I think, as I mentioned, it's very good that you can show that you can do this kind of stuff, right? Especially because all my students end up working in games because they started to work on the body mechanics, right? And then here we start to have the first shot where there is more of a combat. So this is very important because when you do combat, as you can see, you need to be able to do very good good posing, like very good anticipation, very good strike, right? Each pose needs to be very clean. Your arc needs to be very solid. See, even here we did a little bit of slow motion. The pose needs to look very beautiful, and then boom, very quickly, one, and then two. All right. So this show that you master timing and posing. And then this is the classic two body shot, right? Two character. Obviously, the second one is mostly just reacting, but in a way that this shows that you know how to do physicality and hit reaction from a contact, right? Because something like this is definitely not easy. Anybody who did something like that, he knows how challenging it is, even more for a student. And this is Polius, which opened up, if I remember correctly, with the similar. Oh no, that's the next one. So this is another great shot. You see how dynamic this one flows? Again, if you realize when my students present this kind of shot, they always have beautiful pose and snappy timing, great polish, great arc. You see how everything moves beautifully in an arc, right? This is very important when you do stuff like this, right? And beside this, you have this smear. Your timing is very snappy, right? Okay. And in general, the choreography just flows very well, right? Obviously, this also helps finding a good reference when you do stuff like that, right? Because it started like this, start from your planning, right? Very nice and beautiful. This one is another great shot, probably the most complicated done by one of my students, right? 4 character interacting, okay? Right, see, great poses here, great timing. Again, in this case, he had to do his own reference for all those characters, right? We couldn't find any reference on the internet, so he need to do a lot of acting himself, right? And really work with some really great physicality here. This looks really brutal, really love it. And then again, same for him, you know, parkour shot, all right? Same stuff here. And you notice probably that this demo reel is just 3 shots. 3 good shots, very well done, very well executed, 1, 2, and 3. And this was enough to get him a job. Doesn't mean he only did 3 shots with me, but those are the 3 strongest ones that he wanted to upload on his demo reel. All right? Another of my students, Johnny here. Okay, you open up with this trick soccer ball shot. Really fun to watch this one. All right? Gonna analyze it a little bit more. So you see, even here, even though the character is always in motion, we always find opportunity to hold a little bit of a pause, right? Like go here, this other one here. Another things we love how we did it, how we exaggerate the feet coming towards camera. It suddenly became bigger and makes it a lot of fluid and very nice, right? See, little anticipation, and then again another strong poses where the character moves around. Really, really fun to watch. You know what I mean? Flip and then hop and then come into a pose. Then we have a Jedi attack. He's a big fan of Star Wars, as you guys can imagine. Pull it back, 1, 2, 3, right? Strike. So beside the execution, one of the things I like about this shot is just the choreography itself, like how he combined multiple things, right? Take out the swords, using the force, see how the poses, again, it's very clean, right? He pulled the object by himself. I see like the contrast again when I'm talking about contrast about posing. And then one attack, 2 and 3, the third one he pushes him away. You see again, very nice and dynamic poses, okay? And then from here he does this and this throw here. This is completely done by his acting, obviously, right? Strike, and while he's going back, he jumps, catches up in the air, and final strike, right? This is again another body mechanic shot, right? To show weight, and the classic parkour shot as we talk about it, all right? See again, everything feels very fluid, very smooth, okay? And I'm gonna show you the last one. So you see, always start with a very strong shot on your demo reel, right? In this case is again, martial art with a prop, so it's very difficult to do, right? So you can see here, again, strong poses, great arc, right? You see even here, he holds the up in anticipation. See how beautifully is the pose here before smacking it down, right? And from here, see, it looks very fluid. It makes the circle slow down, then boom, he hit very quickly, and then get into this nice pose, right? There's another character, attacking character, right? Boom. Very effectively, very nicely done. This is another great shot. People love it when I share on social media, right? Again, the character always in motion, but extremely tricky to do something like this, especially with a prop, right? And as you can see, he also has the same things we talk about in terms of mechanics, timing, right? Fluidity, right? Contrast in your poses, all elements that makes things looks very, very dynamic, okay? All right, this is again a tennis shot, but you see like the again even in the choreography, started with kind of stationary attack, it jumps back and forth, strike again, coming towards camera, doing a saving at the end. Even the performance, how the character constantly move, it doesn't stay just in the same place or doesn't always move on the same spot. It makes visually your shots a lot more interesting, right? This is again another more or less style capoeira. You see how beautifully moves with the arc and everything, right? And then a classic parkour shot that we talk about all the times, all right? So as you can see, more or less, all those shots, all those demo reel, they fully focus on demo reel, on body mechanics, mostly because all my students then eventually end up applying in jobs where most of the time there is a lot more opportunity, okay, when it comes to the job. And so it helps to have, well, no, it helps, you must have really strong body mechanics, and those are all people who apply with no experience. So they have zero experience, they just have a damn good demo reel, right? They didn't hide behind excuses about the fact that the industry was in a bad place, a lot of people getting laid off. They didn't care, they continue to study, they continue to push for their demo reel, right? They continue to practice with me over and over until they got something with this quality. Then they apply. Few months later, sometimes 2 months, sometimes 5 months, they got their first job, right? And again, even though when they get rejection, they keep working on themselves, they keep improving stuff with me, right? Until they got to the quality that was needed in order to get a job, right? I can guarantee you guys, I see sometimes over the internet people complaining, what's the point? I am a junior, I have no experience, nobody's hiring it, you know. I can tell you most of the time when people do this kind of complaint, I go and take a look at their demo reel, they are miles away from this kind of quality, right? So it's nothing to do because of the job, the industry. Sure, that's also play a part of it, but the biggest problem is because their quality doesn't even come close. For me, this is the quality that is necessary for you in order to enter the industry. So it's very simple. Either you have it or not. So if you're watching this video, how does your animation compare to this one? Are you very close or are you far away? If you're far away and you're still not getting a job, that simply could be the reason. Nothing else is in the middle. And other things that people talk about it is as, oh, but there is no job for junior, stuff like that. All of my students who get a job, they do not apply for junior position, they apply for mid-level position. The people look at their demo reel, they love it, they do the interview. If they do well at the interview, they got the job. Maybe if they see that they have no experience, then they offer them as a job as a junior, which is fair. But point is, supervisor look at those demo reels and says, hey, this is a good animator, I want this guy in my team. And that's what your demo reel should communicate. Okay guys, I hope that's all for today. If you have any question, let me know in the comment. Ciao guys.